Welcome to the Real Estate Way to Wealth and Freedom podcast with Jacob Ayers, providing actionable content to help you along your journey to financial freedom through real estate investing. As the premier asset class, real estate has helped ordinary people just like you amass fortunes. The benefits of passive income from real estate investing will allow you to live a life you want. And now your host, entrepreneur, real estate investor, and apartment deal syndicator, Jacob Ayers.
Hi, and welcome to the Real Estate Way to Wealth and Freedom podcast, episode 138. Hi, I'm your host, Jacob Ayers, and you are listening to Friday Fundamentals. Welcome back. Well, this week I have something special for you, and that is I have enlisted the help of previous guest from episode 125, Jay Connor, to help deliver this week's Friday Fundamental. Well, this week's Friday Fundamental is finding foreclosures. Now, as of recently, I've been really interested in my own real estate investing business to develop and build processes and systems and procedures, thus working on my business and not in my business, allowing me to grow and scale. So that's been something I've been focusing on in my own personal life. So I wanted to bring Jay on to help show us how he finds and buys foreclosure properties. So without further ado, let's jump into this week's Friday Fundamental. All right, today's Friday Fundamental is finding foreclosures, and I've got a unique perspective today, and that is I've got guest Jay Connor on the show. Now, Jay was our original guest on episode 125. So, hey, Jay, thanks so much for coming on the show today.
Absolutely, Jacob. Thank you for inviting me back. I'm excited to be back here with you.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, Jay, you're one of the very first few repeat guests, that is, and I'm really excited to have you on the show today for a number of reasons. Jay, last time we talked was episode 125, and after that show, you and I really hit it off, and we started talking about ways we could deliver some value to the audience members, and you've got several awesome programs that I wanted to dig into, and I wanted to frame the conversation with this Friday Fundamental. So, actually, Jay, it's funny because you told me about your live event and you told the entire audience last time you were on the show about your live event. And I felt really interested in that. So I'm actually just bought my ticket, booked my plane ticket. So I'm going to be out there in October with you in beautiful North Carolina. So yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
Man, that's awesome, Jacob. And I tell you what, I think you told me that your audience has not had the opportunity to actually network with you in person and meet you and talk shop, in person. And so this is going to be the first opportunity for your audience, right?
Yeah, that's right, Jay. So, I've never, put it out there that, hey, meet me at this local event or, I'm going to be here on this date. But yeah, that's it. October 10th, 11th, 12th, I'm going to be there in North Carolina. So everyone out there listening and wants to connect, talk real estate, meet up for, brilliant 3 days of networking. Let's do it.
Man, that's awesome. Well, in fact, we've got a special URL put together for your listeners for them to register to come to our event and to network with you. And that URL is www.jacobayers.com/event. And we put a special deal together. This is a $3,000 event, but your listeners get to come for free with a small registration fee of $97. And I tell you what, Jacob, at the end of the show, which I think your shows run about 20 minutes, we're talking about foreclosures today, how we find them before other real estate investors even know they exist. So I think you said we'll go about 20 minutes. So at the end of the show, if you like, we will give your listeners an overview of all the kind of information that they're going to learn about real estate investing at the event. Does that sound good to you?
Yeah, sounds great, Jay. So, well, hey, let's jump into it today. Jay, you've got a unique system and you know how to find foreclosures, but the most important part is you know how to find foreclosures before other people find them. So let's jump into that today and tell us, why foreclosures, how to find them, and just give us that overview.
Sure, absolutely. Yeah, at the live event, we will dive deep and go into great detail about this foreclosure system that my wife, Carol Joy, and I actually created 15 years ago. What it is there's two main categories of how we do the foreclosure business. One category is we track every notice of default in our target market from the time the file is open, from the time that the substitute trustee is hired by the mortgage company to now begin the foreclosure process. And we track them. We know when the sales are taking place. And we even track them after they have, if they declare bankruptcy, we don't close the file because the file is not closed at the courthouse. And the other category, or other part of the foreclosure system, is I have an 8-letter direct mail sequential mailing that gets a crazy 57% response rate. The reason that is so high, unbelievably high, is because the message to the market is a perfect fit. So as I said, my wife, Carol Joy, and I started creating this system 15 years ago. She put the tracking system in place, and I put the direct mail letters together. Now, the reason that we are able to find and locate and communicate with these people that are in distress and we're offering them solutions, then what happens is we're able to find them because we do not rely on online resources. Okay. So there's lots of, companies out there that you can subscribe to and get the foreclosure information, but it will run typically a week to 2 weeks behind, and it's not, updated every day. Well, we actually go to the courthouse twice a week and physically update, those that we are tracking and mailing to. So there are 5 steps. Again, I'll go over this much more detail at the live event, but there's 5 steps. I'm going to give the overview here to our foreclosure system. Step number 1 is get the foreclosure list. Step number 2 is then we're going to use the letters and market to the people that are in foreclosure. Step number 3 is we analyze the deal after they respond. Step number 4 is we control the property, and we have multiple ways we can control it. And step number 5 is we have multiple exit strategies that, the real estate investors can use. So I'll comment briefly on each step. Step number 1, get the foreclosure list. So when we started out, it was Carol Joy that actually went to the courthouse herself, right?
Yeah, right.
And so then we wanted to automate this system more so. And so then we hired a local assistant or virtual assistant to go to the courthouse. So Carol Joy trained her. Her name is Contessa, and she goes to the courthouse twice a week. She updates every file and then, creates a report for me. So we see what the bids were, what the sales are, if there are any upset bids, etc., and if there's any deals that I'm interested in bidding on. So we track every open file till it's closed or dismissed. And so that's the first step. Get the list, maintain it. And then step number 2 is we're now going to market to the owners of these properties using my 8 proprietary letters. And I've been tweaking these letters for years. And as I said, they get a very, very high rate of response. So when someone responds to one of these letters, of course, we stop mailing the letters once they respond. And, we get the information. So I have a local assistant that gets the property lead sheet filled out, gets all the information about the property. We get the mortgage information. We find out if they'll sell for what they owe or if they're going to need some cash for us to help them move. And we get our realtor to do the CMA or the comparables. We see what the house is worth, assuming after we would fix it up in excellent condition. And then we negotiate with the seller. All right. So step 3, we've got the property lead sheet. The realtor gets us the comps. And then at that point, if it looks like there is a good spread between what we can buy it for and then repairs and then what we can sell it for, we then go look at the house. So still in step 3 is we're looking at the comps, verifying the information. We go out and look at the house. So, Jacob, I never make an offer on a house unless either myself or my team members have actually seen the house and done a walkthrough, and we've got an estimation of repairs either from my contractor or my crew leader or whatever. So once we have all the information we need, which is what's the after repaired value from our realtor, how much are the repairs, and then what kind of offer can we make, all right, that makes sense. So then, still in step 3, if we're able to negotiate the deal, then we decide in step number 4, how are we going to control the property or own the property? So you see, Jacob, there's multiple ways, as you know, there's multiple ways to control the property. We can buy it subject to the existing note. And if your listeners don't know what that is, you've probably talked about, with 125 or 150 episodes, you've probably talked about buying subject to the existing note. Yes?
Sure, a little bit. And then, we kind of got into that in episode 125, Jay, a little bit about how you control and buy and exit your property. So yeah, we got a little bit of taste of that, certainly.
Yeah. So, the quick definition, not to do a seminar on buying subject to, but it's where the seller of a property agrees to leave the mortgage in their name and transfer the title or the deed into our entity's name. And of course, people ask, well, who in the world would agree to do that? And the answer is a motivated seller that wants debt relief is who will do it. I've bought many that way. So you can buy the foreclosure subject to the existing note. If that can't be negotiated for whatever reason, of course, we got private money. I'm known as the private money authority. So we got private money always lined up, ready to cash them out if we have to negotiate it that way. Or my least favorite, but you can still control the property by purchasing it or controlling it with a lease option or a lease purchase agreement. So that's step number 4, control the property. And then step number 5, once you control the property, there's at least 4 exit strategies. So one exit strategy is, you got to enter a contract. You can wholesale the property, to another real estate investor, or you can keep it. You can rehab it if it needs rehab. A lot of times these foreclosures do not need many repairs at all. You may be able to get it in and out for $5,000. But if it needs repairs, you can get it rehabbed, get it all fixed up, and you can sell it retail, put it in the multiple listing service with your realtor. Or if it does need repair but it is habitable, okay, you can sell it as is to a work for equity buyer, which would be selling it to them on lease purchase or rent to own. And then they do, the minor fix-ups. Or you can sell it on a lease option, as I said, with credit repairs. So you can sell it on rent to own. Force or require your buyers to enter into the credit repair program, which we use an excellent credit repair company. We use Paul Ritter and his team out of Philadelphia. It takes about 6 to 9 months to get them ready for a mortgage, and then we can cash out. So, there's multiple exit strategies. And, Jacob, what I love about the foreclosure business and the way we do it is it can be a win for 4 different people, okay? I know sometimes real estate investors get a bad rap, and I understand why, because there are some real estate investors, as in any business, that are unethical. But the way I approach the business is I want there to be win-win-win for everybody, and here's who I'm talking about. The seller can win in this foreclosure system because we bring them debt relief, we bring the payments current, and we actually keep their payments current until we have a cash out buyer. The second winner is if we're funding it with private money, then the private lender wins by getting high rates of return safely and securely. The third winner is if we sell it on rent to own, now we have a family that is owning a home or in the process of owning a home, and they couldn't own a home any other way because they didn't qualify for a mortgage, but we're going to help them get qualified. And then the fourth win in this scenario is ourselves, the real estate entrepreneur investor that orchestrates the entire system. So, Jacob, that's the overview of the foreclosure system.
Jay, so much there. And hey, that's all great stuff. And one thing I want to take away or highlight right here, I really like this strategy, Jay, because you're going out and actively filling your pipeline with deals. You're not waiting on deals to come to you. You know, lots of people sit out there and sit at home and say, Jay, Jacob, there are just no deals in my market. I look on the MLS, once a week and, I just don't see anything. But Jay, you've got a team, you've got systems, you've got processes, and you're going out there and actively looking at listings, managing them, watching them all through the life cycle. But hey, one thing I want to go back to the very beginning of the conversation and ask Jay is why foreclosures? Why would somebody buy a foreclosure or look to buy a foreclosure?
Well, first of all, my filter for my entire business is doing business with a servant's heart. It's all about helping people. One of our first questions that we ask an owner that responds to our marketing that's in foreclosure, we ask them, do you want to keep your home? If they say yes, we tell them and disclose, we're not attorneys, cannot give you legal advice, but we can give you some ideas that we know about from years of experience. If they want to keep their home, we'll ask them, well, have you talked to your lender about a deferment program of putting the payments that are in arrears on the back end of your note and, starting fresh? And if you can show the mortgage company that you are able to make the payments, then that's a consideration. Well, when they do that, I don't get one thing out of that, but what I do know, which I learned from Zig Ziglar, if you help enough other people get what they want, you don't have to worry about yourself. You're going to have all you want. So I want myself and my team put on the shoes of being in the owner's situation. How is the highest and best way that we can serve you? This another reason for foreclosures is that you make huge profits by helping other people get out of the financial distress. So, our average profits now, as of today, are over $60,000 per deal. And we're in a medium price point of $223,000. That's the average, price that we have on homes in this area. So it's about helping people while at the same time, being rewarded greatly financially as well.
Jay, that's something I want to dig into really quickly because you mentioned it earlier. Unfortunately, in real estate investing, there are some people who are just operate unethically. And there's some people out there with a lot of empty promises in terms of, they're going to sell you this program or this, 3-step proven process so you can sit at home in your pajamas and, cash mailbox money if you just subscribe to their 3-step, 5-step, whatever it is, proven process, right? And I don't get that vibe with you at all, Jay. In fact, I've really gotten to know you over the past few months and we've built a relationship. And I understand that ultimately you operate with a high level of integrity. And that's something I really respect out of you and your coaching programs and all of the things you preach. So yeah, I just wanted to, take a second and thank you for doing that because, you don't get that with everybody out there.
Yeah, well, I do appreciate that. And I tell you, I'm blessed to hear that kind of feedback at my live events and when I speak on other people's stages. That I'm sorry, but I just can't fake who I am. I'm my wife Carol Joy and I. You go to speaker training camp, right? And they say never talk politics or religion from the stage. Well, I don't talk politics because I'm not into that really, really big. But I worship my God. We're very involved in the church. I'm a Christian. And, people find that out about me. And, I connect with those. I don't know who came up with the phrase opposites attract because opposites do not attract. Like attracts like, you hang around people that's like you, right?
Sure.
And so anyway, I appreciate you saying that, Jacob. I appreciate that.
Yeah, you bet. Well, Jay, hey, we couldn't potentially unpack everything there is to know about foreclosures in a short podcast, even if we ran several hours, right? So that's what this live event you've got coming up for in October is. So tell us a little bit more about that live event, what people can expect, and, tell us, a little bit more about it.
Sure, absolutely. Well, the live event is, I go into detail and teach the 4 pillars of my business. And man, Jacob, I'm so excited to have you there at the event, because you and I are going to have more than one session on stage together. Because you interview me here on the show, I get to interview you on stage.
The tables turn
in front of your people, because I know your listeners want to know even more about you and how you do the business, and et cetera. But at the live event, it's 3 days, October 10, 11, and 12. It's right here in Morehead City, Atlantic Beach, North Carolina. And so, I know your listeners are all over the nation. And, in this event, I've had people come from all over the nation, from California to Florida, Indiana, Texas, pretty much every state comes. So yes, you're probably going to need to get on an airplane, but it'll be one of the best investments you've made in your real estate investing career, particularly when you get to hear directly from Jacob and myself at the event. So I'll be teaching the 4 pillars of my business. The foreclosure business, which I just gave you an overview of. We'll dive deep into it. The second pillar is funding deals, how to get plugged into private money. In fact, I'm actually going to have private lenders at the event on the second day that the attendees will get to network with. I go deep into private money. The third pillar I teach is how we can sell any home in 3 days or less, using my rent-to-own home selling system. And then the fourth pillar is automation. All right, how am I able to actually work in the business less than 10 hours per week and be able to have a 7-figure income? So the first day, I've got the bus tour. So everybody gets on the luxury bus, the luxury coach, and we're going to go out and look at actual homes that are mine and Carol Joy's homes, our company's homes, that we either just acquired and haven't started renovating them yet. Look at other homes that we have finished and just put them on the market and they're totally staged. And, maybe some in between that are in the middle of renovation. And on that bus tour, Jacob, I'm going to pull back the curtain and give all the information, how we found the house, what we bought it for, how we funded it. Did we use private money? Did we use subject to, et cetera? What's the cost of the renovation? What are we going to sell it for? What's the profit? And on that bus tour, Jacob, we will have my contractors that I do business with. Everybody will learn how to estimate repairs in 15 minutes or less. I'll have my interior designer, Beth Garner, on the tour. And so they'll get to network with the people we actually do business with. On the third day, the attendees will meet even more of my automation team. So, Jacob, we're going to have a great time at the event together and presenting together as well.
Jay, I look forward to it. I'm counting down the days. That's October 10th, 11th, 12th in Atlantic City, North Carolina.
Oops, Atlantic Beach.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yes.
You're thinking Atlantic City, New Jersey.
Well, Jay, you have to forgive me. I'm in Houston, Texas, so it all just seems far east to me. But yes.
Hey, look, I hope you didn't buy plane tickets to Atlantic City, New Jersey.
I'm going to need to go confirm that now. So let me jump off here, make sure I'm going to the right place. But yeah, absolutely, Jay. Looking forward to it. Well, Jay, you're practically giving this thing away. $97 for 3 days of action-packed content, bus tours, pulling back the curtains on your business, how you find deals, how you manage deals, how you acquire deals, exit deals, just a whole 9 yards. So really looking forward to it. If our listeners want to meet me out there, I'd love to meet you. You can go and sign up for this event at www.jacobayers.com/event. Looking forward to seeing you guys out there. Jay, thanks so much for coming on the show and helping out with this week's Friday Fundamentals. It's been a lot of fun.
Absolutely. And I think we've got a 4-part series going on, right? What's coming up, Jacob?
Yeah. So, Jay, you're absolutely right. We've got a 4-part series. You're going to be helping out with the upcoming Friday Fundamentals because we've got a lot to, touch on. And, we're going to touch on those 4 pillars you alluded to earlier. So really looking forward to that. So next week, tune in for the next episode where Jay's going to come on and help with the Friday Fundamentals.
All right, man. Look forward to it. Seeing you on the show here next week.
All right. Appreciate it, Jay. Thank you.
Thank you, Jacob.
All right. right, that wraps up this week's episode of Friday Fundamentals, as well as our very first guest appearance on a Friday Fundamental. So I really hope you got value from today's show. I would love to meet and network with you, and I can't think of a better place to do so than at a conference where we can learn and socialize and network and get to know one another. So if you have any interest in meeting me out at Jay's live event in Atlantic City, North Carolina on October 10th, 11th, and 12th, you can register for a special price discount at www.jacobayers.com/event. And let me know when you do. I'd love to plan something and maybe meet up one evening for dinner or something of that nature. So looking forward to seeing you out there. Till next week, engineer the lifestyle you want.
You've been listening to the Real Estate Way to Wealth and Freedom podcast, providing you actionable content to build your real estate empire. Nothing on this show should be considered specific, personal, or professional advice. Please consult an appropriate tax, legal, real estate, financial, or business professional for personal advice. The opinions of guests are their own. Information is not guaranteed. All investment strategies have a potential for profit or loss. The host is operating on behalf of the Real Estate Way to Wealth and Freedom, LLC, exclusively.